Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Take a Poll podcast. We're back very quickly, back-to-back episodes after Clonmel and the first day of Down Royal. We're back with the Saturday of Down Royal, which features, I think it is our first grade 1.
Finally. Just the fourth grade 1, yeah.
This is our first grade 1, the champion chase, so that should be fun to record. Dec, how are you for this fine evening?
Yeah, good. Heading away the weekend, so in a bit of a rush tonight, but we got here. We got there.
Yeah, I'll have to keep the show on the road with some tips maybe for Naas. I might go to Naas on Sunday actually.
Yeah, I'd probably get a few up now. I'd probably get a chance to get a few up.
Very good. Well, another quick one this evening for you guys would be out at, I think, about 4:00 on a Friday afternoon. So a really decent card. We've got 7 races, including a 3-year-old hurdle. A few usual suspects are starting to turn back up again, Dec, if you notice when you enter the cards. Maiden hurdle, we got a grade 2, grade 1. We've a decent Haslam Hotel handicap hurdle. It's a good 2-mile handicap that can often throw up winners at Fairyhouse and later in the year at the Dublin Racing Festival, etc. And a decent bumper that's been won by some nice horses too, and a 3-mile handicap chase, which is going to leave me very torn as well with some usual suspects. But without further ado, Dec, we will get going. We probably already know where we're both going to go here. This is from a previous TAP podcast. The Lisburn and Castlereagh City Council 3-year-old hurdle. This is the return of Cossack Chock, who was a non-runner when we both pretty confidently put him up. I think at Punchestown at the start of October. I think the race was subsequently won by Wood Hugh, 24 length winner in very, very easy fashion. I don't know what the weights may have been. I can't quite remember it off the top of my head, but I'd imagine Wood Hugh is carrying a penalty now. She'll only get £3 from the gelding. Cossack Chock, who was a winner first time out, but hasn't been seen in best part of a little over 3 months. It's probably a 2-horse race, Dec. All bar one of their opponents here, Eagles Reign, being the exception, are unraced, so it could be quite difficult to kind of get a perspective on this form early doors. But where are you going? Are you going to stick with Cossack Chock, or is there any debutants that might take your
No, I wouldn't be brave enough to have a go on any of the debutants, but I was really looking forward to seeing Cossack Chock the last day. I just run through his form again. He beat That's Jet by 8 lengths. That's Jet was half a length off Norborg. You there?
Now, apologies, a few issues there, a few technical issues with Dec's Wi-Fi. He's after putting 50 cent back in the meter, though. Dec, you were letting us know about Cossack Chock. Keep going.
Yeah, the Gremlins were in there chewing on the fibre, the new fibre we got. Cossack Chock, he beat That's Jet by 8 lengths. That's Jet was only a half length off Norborg Ring, who did finish ahead of Woodoo. The places were reversed, but I think Norborg Ring was giving Woodoo £13 that day. So, look, she has improved. I think that was very impressive the last day, but she's only getting £3 off Cossack Chock on Saturday. So I'm still excited about him, and we've mentioned him on a couple of podcasts since, like that. We're looking forward to seeing him. So I'm still holding hope, even though she has improved. Only having to give her £3 if he's the horse we hope, and if that form is true. Like That's Jet has let the form down probably since going to England, beating at Sedgefield, but was beaten 8 lengths to be fair by Cossack Chock. So he could be a right one, and I hope he is. I hope. Like, what way do you see the betting? Do you think she'd be favoured now after holding up?
Yeah, I actually do, because she was just so impressive. But again, you don't really know what she's beaten, especially so early in the season. Cossack Chock, the reason I was always quite drawn to him, he is by Churchill, who had a decent season with his first juvenile hurdlers. It was his first season. He had his first 3-year-olds, I think, last year. And they included Script Rider and Comfort Zone. So we know his progeny can tend to jump, and this lad looked like close enough to a natural, really, on his first start. So yeah, I'd be happily siding with him, especially only having to give to Philly £3. And I'd be happy to take a chance that the debutants are nothing special.
Yeah, look, I'm unless there is an absolute weapon lurking in there. Like it's unusual, isn't it? The one run on
Yeah,
the flat and straight over hurdles. I do like that. It hasn't got many miles on the clock. Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, might stay him around for a few years, hopefully.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The two down the bottom are actually probably the two most interesting because they're actually two fillies that are national hunt bred. Uh, brave when brave when need to be, or brave when I need to be. Okay, brave when I need to be. By San Frontiers. I think he won an Irish Ledger, possibly. One of Galileo's first Group 1 winners. I think he is responsible for a few decent. National Hunt horses. None actually jumping off the top of my head, but he is National Hunt Stallion and Tiny Angel, filly by Yates out of a Flemonsfort mare. So Noel Kelly, she might need a lot more time, but they're ones that you would like to see maybe progress in the future, and probably ones just to keep a little eye on. But no, I think Cossack Jock is definitely the one you want to be with here. I was quite impressed with him on his debut, and the filly might set the market now. So yeah. Is unanimous Cossack Jock then, Deck, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopeful, very hopeful.
Lovely. That's good to know. Okay, well then on to the 110, the Tato Group Maiden Hurdle for over 2 miles. Gordon Elliott tends to run one of his better novice hurdlers here. He didn't last year. The name of the horse actually escaped me. I say he was in a lot of people's bet slips for the Supreme for a long time. I think that the race was won last year by Gavin Cromwell and Invictus Matching, but the likes of MYLN, yeah, exactly. They're all devastated when he won. I think the likes of
one you're thinking of.
Foxfire Glow is the one I'm thinking of. I think he's running 3 mile handicap hurdles through the summer when last seen. The likes of, I think, Samcro and Voyalen, some top horses have won this maiden hurdle. Down memory lane looks like he's going to be the pick for Gordon Elliott. Really impressive in his bumper. That form has worked out quite well. He's going to be long odds on, I would have thought, to win this. Last year's winning trainer Gavin Cromwell has Whale Harbour for the Chris Jones colours in here, who might attract a bit of support. Nice, interesting to see a 4-year-old going straight over hurdles, no bumpers, no point-to-point experience. Although was a non-runner at the start of November on soft ground, so it would be interesting to see if they want to let him take his chance here. Look, Deck, this is probably a penalty kick. This horse has a bit of a reputation. What do you think?
I don't know. I'm surprised people aren't trying to back him for the Farm Oiler with the jockey booking, to be honest, because usually Twitter, I think they're quite clever with bookings like this. It's interesting. He won his bumper easy enough. The Wall Park was third in his bumper. He was third in this maiden last year. And he's been well beat at listed level. So I don't know. I know we spoke about liking the Wall Park. I'm not sure now. He was well beaten by Willie's horse. Was a high class hero, was that?
Limerick or Tipperary. Yeah, no, I think it was Limerick. It was after quite a few runs there.
Hero, the name of the horse.
High class hero. I'll get it for you now.
Yeah. So look, I'm not sure how strong that form is. Gordon also runs Timmy Tuesday. Now this horse has issues. He ran out in his last race. That was last November. He was third in a nice maiden before that. I wouldn't be overly sold on down memory lane. I think it could be a bit of a high person. Why is Derek O'Connor booked?
I don't know. Honestly, don't know. Jack Kennedy doesn't seem to be. Jack Kennedy's riding Timmy Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe it's a JP thing. I don't know.
Yeah. But I just thought that was a bit strange. No, look, I think Timmy Tuesday. Look, the horse clearly has issues, but I think if he put it together, he's had some time off, probably been at counselling and been to see a psychiatrist. So I think if Timmy Tuesday was put together, I think it could be a nice horse. I wouldn't be, down memory lane is very, very short. I wouldn't be overly sold on him. I'm not sure how deep that bumper really was.
Okay, fair enough. The jockey bookings, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, Timmy Tuesday, obviously Jack Kennedy's choice. I'd love to know the background to it. It is a very valid point. I wonder if it might give the market a little bit of cold feet, or second guess themselves. It will be interesting to see. Outside of the ones with experience, I don't really say. I think Gordon Elliott has pretty much a stranglehold on this race. Gavin Cromwell also has Earl of Brackenstown in here, another 4-year-old who's never seen the race course in his life. It'd be interesting to see how those two run. But I think this could be a 1-2 for Gordon Elliott. I probably still will stick with Down Memory Lane. He did show me enough on his rules debut, when winning very, very well. Will I be backing him? No, because he'd be odds on. I still think he'd be a long odds on. And will I be backing him for Cheltenham or anything else? No, I'd rather see him take on horses at Christmas and we'll get a better ride from him there. Yeah, so Dec, if you're happy enough, we can move on to the 145.
Yeah.
Lovely. Onto the 145 we go. So the Haslam Hotel Handicap Hurdle. It's a race I'm a big fan of. This race tends to throw up decent handicappers as the season goes on. You can always look back on this race, as I said, for the Winter Festival at Fairyhouse. There's a good handicap hurdle there. Some of the horses down lower in the weights can sometimes run at Christmas at Leopardstown. A lot of these end up in the Liffey handicap, or what's now known as the Liffey handicap was the Ladbroke at the Dublin Racing Festival, and then a few of them would obviously go on to Cheltenham and the County Hurdle, Coral Cup, etc. So a strong field at 13, ultra competitive, a good few that could have a little bits up their sleeve. There's one that seriously takes my eye. It'd be a Hood first time as Foxy Girl, 5-year-old mare. This is the first time where I've kind of got the opportunity to see a mare that could be just chucked in. Obviously beat In Excess, a horse of Willie Mullins's, pretty easily. In Excess went on to win, and then ran a respectable 12th behind You Wear It Well in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle. We spoke on Top 7 about how that form is working out nicely. Some of you guys might have, anyone listening to this might be able to put a little bit more on the form when Magical Zoe goes up against Irish Point. We're obviously recording before the Friday card, so we can't really go too much into that just yet. But Lucia and You Wear It Well have both ran well at Wetherby. You Wear It Well, obviously, a horse that I know we don't speak about English racing, but it's one of the horses over on the UK shores that I'm seriously interested in. I think she could be a proper filly / mare. She could be anything. Has obviously won since, and I just think 1, 2, 3 could seriously let her in lightly against geldings and whatnot in handicap on her handicap debut. I think she could be very, very well handicapped. Dec, how did you see this breaking down?
Yeah, I did really like Foxy Girl too. Obviously, the second to Liberty Dance before winning our maiden. Only beating 12 lengths at Cheltenham, although she was 8. But I do like a lot of the horses that were ahead of her. I do think that Mayor's Novice could work out well.
It's about time it did.
It is about time it did, yeah. And it is first time in a handicap. She's the obvious choice here. I'm gonna take 2. The other one is Dark Note.
Okay.
Beating ahead at the stall by Samoy, up £4 for that. But been mixing on the flat as well. Very, very consistent hurdler for that trainer we love, Andy Slattery. This is Dark Note's second handicap, so be experienced enough horse. But second time in a handicap, be up to speed of things. It'll be happening quick, but should be. I think Dark Note could be banged there. It's between the two of them for me. I'd probably do a reverse forecast. It's not the biggest of fields, I don't think. Quick look. No,
13, I think we got.
Yeah, for an Irish handicap hurdle, it's not the biggest of fields. So I think both of them won't be far away.
Yeah, I'm starting to half think now. Trainers kind of caught on to these fillies and mares and handicaps, because I see Gordon Elliott chucked a few of it. Even Noel Meade in there with the Model Kingdom. I think out of the fillies and mares, though, she might be one of the slightly more exposed types. If you go on her run in the Mayor's Novice Hurdle, I can't see her being able to give £4 to Foxy Girl. And then you look the two down towards the bottom, Medea Naranja for Bective Stud. She must have been bought for 600 grand or something.
Yeah.
After that, I'm only joking.
I think she was beating about 100 lengths the last day.
Oh, right. Okay.
The form looks okay, but I think she's been a long way. I'm not sure who beat her. showing your 4-year-old though. She's trying.
Yeah. Now, Maria Naranja is actually entered Friday as well, so she's entered against Irish Point and Magical Zoe, so there's a chance here she doesn't run. And then Best Align off 116 bottom weight, completely unexposed, has failed to win, but like the 13 and a half lengths behind Zarek the Brave, who's obviously improved no end since they met at Fairyhouse, and behind War Correspondent ran okay actually for that. She made a good few mistakes and was pitching until kind of the home turn, and was reported to be blowing hard post race. But her run at Limerick behind She's a Fine Wine, it is worth noting that Best Line drifted like a barge that day. She was actually odds on to win that race, and She's a Fine Wine was backed into 4-7. It's a mare I have a lot of time for, as I said on a previous episode. And if she goes and wins this off 116, look, it's a competitive handicap. It would be a form boost. It wouldn't be the biggest form boost in the world. But it would be a nice one. As I said, just another plug for She's a Fine Wine, who's another mare to really keep on side this season. But very interesting that a lot of fillies and mares are taking their chances here. But it is Foxy Girl for me. It's going to be one of my better bets of the weekend, I think. If she's wound up, I think she's going to be very hard to beat, because 1, 2, 3, I'm almost certain would underestimate her ability here. Anything else, Decker? Just you said that one, and was Foxy Girl and...
Yeah, Foxy Girl's back. I'm going to take 2. Yeah, I'll probably do a reverse podcast.
Lovely. Happy days. Okay. Well, we'll pop on to the main event of the day for most. Probably not for us. but for Mal, we're only messing. We're not that bad. The Ladbrokes Champion Chase, Grade 1 over 3 miles. Just a quartet. It's a tag team. Gordon Elliott versus Henry de Bromhead. So Conflated and Jerry Colon versus MYLN and Manila Indo. Conflated get ridden by Sam Ewing. The outsider of the 4, but is arguably has achieved just as much as any horse really in this race. A brilliant Grade 1 chaser and his absolute best. MYLN, who loves his trips up to Down Royal, winner of this race last year, has done very, very little wrong at this track. Jerry Colombe, who was just touched off in the Festival Novices Chase behind the real Whacker, but then made no mistake when being brilliant at Aintree. He's the 5-6 favourite. I wouldn't be rushing to really take that price against some very, very seasoned chasers. And then obviously the Gold Cup winner and a former Gold Cup runner-up, who was back to form the last time, which was nice to see after some poor runs and an interrupted season, Manila Indo. So Deck, 4 runners, plenty of depth though. So who's your fancy?
Yeah, the 4 top class horses. Look, I'm going to give Conflated another chance. I thought he ran a cracker in the Gold Cup to be third. He was pulled up by Aintree, but you can often forgive that. He was poor at Punchestown, but he could have needed that run. He took a blow in this race last year.
Yeah,
he's definitely a better staying chaser than MYLN for me. But MYLN beat him this year, and he took a blow when he ran on towards the end, and then he was cherry right going to Leopardstown, and he was absolutely brilliant. So I am going to take the chance that he needed the run the last day, and he's not feeling the Gold Cup, and I think he's. I don't have the ratings in front of me. Andy, do you? Like, where does he rate?
He's highest rated.
He's
so
highest
point
rated.
Blank,
Yeah.
Point Black high. He's clear by 4 pounds. He's 167. Probably based on. Look, he's a dual Grade 1 winner at Leopardstown.
Yeah.
And he was a brilliant third in the Gold Cup. Probably didn't quite see home the 3 mile 2 at with.
I thought he's dead on well now for his third. He was just probably beaten by
2 very good horses.
I do think. Look, he did get a fine ride, but he shouldn't always be. I thought maybe could have been a little bit more aggressive on him. But look, he's probably never got to winner anyway. It was a good third, and it was no shame in being third in that race. It was an absolutely brilliant Gold Cup, very, very deep. So. Look, I'm hoping it hasn't left its mark on him, or it hasn't carried out to this season. Look, MYLN, he won this last year and he won the Ryanair. He was a disappointing third at Gowran. He kind of flatters to deceive, doesn't he? Like he has his day, but it's never in real top class races. It's just, I don't know. He never fulfilled his potential, and the bar was set pretty high. But there's no shame in like you'd still love to own him, you know.
Victim of his own success in a way, probably.
Yeah, exactly. Like, but he had a very tough career as a younger horse. Minella Indo, look, he bounced back to form at Punchestown, but he did only beat Hurricane Georgie by 2 lengths. And I know Conflated was way behind, but you know, I'm putting the line through that. It was great to see Minella Indo winning, but I'm not sure just how good that was. And then Jerry Colombe, look, he has it all to prove. He's the exciting novice. He was very impressive at Aintree. He was good at Sandown. Cheltenham, I don't think he could go with him. He
absolutely couldn't.
Yeah, people gave Jordan Gainsford an awful lot of stick. I thought it was very unjust. You can't just put a horse closer if he's not quick enough to get closer, like, you know. And the Real Whacker gave an absolute exhibition that day. You know, he's probably the best jumper of all last season's novices. And Braun folded as well. That's how good a performance that was by the Real Whacker. Braun didn't get home, and Jerry only closed in on the Real Whacker after he won the race. And, you know, horses usually are slowing down at the line. They do their racing further out than the last furlong. So I think Jerry Colombe does have it to prove now in open company, as do all exciting novices. But I kind of give Conflated another go. I think if they all run to their best, he is the best horse in the race.
Fair enough. Yeah, we did speak a lot on the other podcasts and all the previews we did, and not many people agreed that Jerry Colombe just wouldn't handle the old course, and he didn't. That the course got beat in really.
And he got his ground that day as well.
Yeah, no, the course beat him. He probably would have won the shorter race if they ran him on the new course. He would have plenty of time to run down stage there, you would have thought. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Cheltenham. We're here to talk about Down Royal. Look, I'm going to stick with the Down Royal specialist. I think MYLN is a little bit of value here, similar to what you said about Conflated. You just put a line through his reappearance. The horse clearly loves the track. I think he's going to be primed to the minute for this. I think it's the most likely. I think out of the 4 runners, I think this is the race that connections are going to be. You know, MYLN is going to be really primed to win this race. I still think Conflated, they still might be bringing him along for another tilt at the Lexus or the Savills. He should be easily far more fit enough to do himself justice. Jerry Colombe, there's question marks about last year's staying novices, I think. He was probably the best of them, but you know, you're messing with heavyweights now. You're messing with the kind of grizzly veterans who, you know, they've been there and done that, and they know what needs to, you know, they know what it takes. And this lad, you know, he could be the pretty boy walking in, but you know, you get into the ring for a few scraps with these guys, and you know who you are pretty quickly. And we've seen lots of top novices struggle. We did mention MYLN, who didn't quite fulfill his potential, but again, that huge step into open company. We've seen it with Sam Crow. We've seen it with a lot of horses, and it's a massive step up. It's not a step up that's appreciated very much into novice company, into open company. It's so hard to do, and only the best ones can do it. And sometimes it's the novices that didn't really show everything, that tend to be the best ones. You know, the your album photos, you know, the horses that tend to progress. Protectorat would be another kind of example. I don't know, I'm just trying to think of horses off the top of my head here, but usually the horses that win the Grade 1 novice hurdles and novice chases don't always tend to be the best open horses. Paisley Park's another brilliant example. He wasn't mapped in an Albert Bartlett before becoming a top stayer. But anyway, I digress. I'm going to stick with MYLN here. I think he's a nice price, around 9-2. Conflated is the outsider of the field deck at 6-1. So we're taking the third and fourth in the betting. Minella Indo 7-2, and Jerry Colombe just a shade of odds on a 5-6 to win this race. I think it's very, very short.
Yeah, very short.
Yeah. So MYLN and deck for yourself is Conflated. Another grade race. This is a grade 2 this time for your sophomore chasers. The free trial, or racingtv.com free trial chase. 2.5 miles, grade 2, and we've a horse who I guess is somehow still a novice hurdler and a novice chaser in Fernley. At the top here, 11 stone 10, a very shock winner at Leopardstown at the Punchestown Festival over 3 miles. has since struggled in France and was beaten at relatively short odds behind it. An admirable mare, My Design at Galway. But you would have thought Connections would have been very disappointed with that run. Maybe they weren't with the camp that he's coming from, the Emmett Mullins camp. They bring their horses along. He brings his horses along on the track, and he has a target in mind for this horse. Is it Saturday? That's the big question. Visionary and a horse you have a lot of time for, deck in here, 11 stone 7, rated 150. Comes out the worst at the weights, but not it's no insignificant amount whatsoever. And then the Galway Plate winner, Ash Tree Meadow, 11 stone 4, very, very progressive. But this is kind of first, this be one of his more, I think it's one of his first proper tilts into graded company. He has been a handicapper. He ran a few graded novice hurdles, but he's never really encountered rivals like Ferneley or Visionarian off kind of structured weight. So, Deck, what way are you looking at this?
Yeah, like Ferneley, he is fascinating, isn't he? Like touring the bumper in February, you know, and to go and win a grade
novice chase
in like 2 months later. He was disappointed. He did give plenty away to My Design that day, but she's only rated 133. He's rated 155, and he does have to give way here again. He's given £3 to Visionarian, and he's given £6 to Ash Tree Meadow. I do absolutely love Visionarian. I was very, very bullish about him in the Galway Plate. He acted the maggot at the start, and I think that took it out of him. I think he got himself back into the race, and it just looked at the winner got a great ride, and he just couldn't reel him in. I think he had ran his race too early, and the antics at the start didn't help, and he just didn't have the stamina to get home or to reel them back in. He's some nice form. He was second in the grade 1 over 2 miles last Christmas. Look, you'd have to say he just wasn't good enough for entry. I was confident going to entry. I think Banbridge won the race. He's beaten St. Sam at the stall recently. His fitness on side. I suppose the all fitness on side. But I'd probably side with Ash Tree Meadow here. Like he is the Galway Plate winner. He won it off 145. He's rated 155 now. The Visionarian's 150. He's 4 from 8 over fences. It's, you know, we'd all love that strike record. I probably getting weight off the two of them, I'd probably side with Ash Tree Meadow.
All right, okay. That kind of surprises me. I thought you would have stuck with Visionarian. I can understand it. You could go ahead, sorry.
No, you don't. You have to, make money following your heart.
Yeah. Fair enough. Now, Ash Tree Meadow comes out the best in the weights, but this is quite a test for him now against two nice horses. And it's going to be no penalty kick. What he does have in his advantage here, he's probably going to have the freedom of Northern Ireland out here on the front end. Ferneley will probably tuck in, it'll probably be Indian file, but opposite race card order. Ash Tree Meadow will probably bring Visionarian along. Ferneley will sit in behind. Now Visionarian that will probably suit him as well, because he likes to just track front runners. Notoriously very strong traveller as well, as we did see at Leopardstown. But I think 3 runner races, the likelihood of them going hard here, I don't think is very high. And if it turns into a little bit of a sprint with Visionarian on Ash Tree Meadow's heels, I would fancy Visionarian to pick him up and go and win. I don't think there's enough in the weights or on the ratings to kind of to sway me the other way. So I'd actually be very slightly on Visionarian side here, and I would imagine he's probably going to be the outsider of the three. Ash Tree Meadow, I would imagine at the weights, and because of Ferneley's below par performance, I would probably have him favour. It depends how the market reacts to Ferneley, but we'll probably know the morning of the race. I wouldn't be surprised if he was 1-2 or 10-1 in this field, really.
You don't know whether he's running at a bumper next or a sprint.
Yeah, that's it. Jesus, exactly. They could be running them here as a prep for that 2 mile handicap hurdle at Ferryhouse, and then maybe on to the. He won't get into the Paddy Power. I think that's a 0-150. He's rated 155. So yeah, Christ knows they could run him in the Savills for all we know. Like, you'd easily end up there. I wouldn't put it beyond Emmett. But anyway, I'm going to take Visionarian to just run out Ash Tree Meadow late home. I think they're going to get into a bit of a sprint with Fernelli just kind of being left behind, but running okay back in third. So, Dec, if you're happy to move on.
Yeah.
This race is tearing at my heartstrings all day, as I know you're not supposed to bet with your head. Or you're not supposed to bet with your heart, but bet with your head. 14 going to post for the Eventsec handicap chase over 3 miles. I think this race was won last year by final orders before he came back to 2 miles. And yeah, Cave Core too, I think we were speaking about on a previous podcast. It's ran up a right sequence, won at Clonmel kind of doing handstands last time out, and has kind of been, the handicappers kind of got sick of this now, and raised £15 for that. You could nearly argue in the manner that he won, 60 or £15 is probably lenient. He's likely going to be favoured again here, and just like final orders, he comes into this race with a string of ones after his name. So yeah, very, very progressive 6-year-old. The two that I'm probably going to look at, Dec, Archie's Charm up the top, who ran a nice race at Gowran in very bottomless ground. The race was won by Positive Thinker. Positive Tinker then followed up over hurdles at Limerick, I believe. And again, very, very progressive. And Railway Hurricane, who was a bit of an exposed horse at that stage. He ran really well in a pull your mark out of thin air novices handicap chase at the showcase meeting at Cheltenham. He was second in that to a nice horse of Nigel Twiston-Davis's. So the form isn't working out too badly there for Archie's Charm. He just keeps bumping into horses. He's one of the most unlucky horses in training. And then the other one, Dec, Solomon Lane, who I'm a big, big fan of down there, number 10. Brian Hayes taking the ride from Martin Hassett. He just looked like he got tired in the closing stages. This horse is this horse gives you a lot of anxiety because he has to be sit. He sits dead last, and he jumps and he jumps and he just picks horses off, but arrives there, very, very late. So you're going to need a pace to aim at, but he's a horse that I think is going to have a really strong season. I don't think he's done progressing, but he does need stuff to drop his way. But before I say which one I'm going to back, Dec, I'll let you have an opinion here. Where are you looking?
I'm really struggling here.
All right.
To decide on one. Obviously, Cave Court, definitely, as you said, on an upward curve, up £15 for the last win. But is that going to stop him? I don't know. Like, he's absolutely bolted up the last day. You wouldn't be surprised to see him go in again. And Harvey's Key, in here off 114, competed off 116 over hurdles.
Right.
He was staying on well to beat Gallon de Vassell, Philip Broadwell, the last day off 107. He's gone up to 7 for that. He has a chance. Look, I don't know. I'd probably kind of side with the one right down the bottom, the mare, Reddy's Island, 6-year-old.
Right.
0 from 8 so far. I think she's had 4 races. She's had 4 races over hurdles, 4 chases. She was second on a handicap chase debut off 90. She's off 94 here. She's up £4 for that, which may be a little harsh, but although she's still a maiden, she's lightly raced and she's only a 6-year-old. She does look like a horse that's going to win races, and there's one coming soon. So look, it's not an overly confident bet, but I do think this is a tough race, but I do like those 3, but I'll side with Reddy's Island.
Yeah, Reddy's Island, actually, she got £3 for finishing second in that race, but is £1 out of the handicap. So that's where the 94 is coming from.
Right. I see.
Yeah,
but the 93 now.
No, still though, £3 though, the £4 would have definitely been harsh. £3 is still questionable. Anyway, look,
especially for a horse who's never won a race, and you don't normally see that in Ireland. He's normally, to horses who haven't won a race, or to smaller owners who've never won a race, he usually gives them a chance to have their day. He's not out to get you. He's not trying to get you beat. He wants owners to win races, especially smaller owners. So it is a little bit harsh on a horse who's not for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Going back to Archie's Charm, Dec, second in this race, only being beaten 3/4 of a length, receiving £2 from final orders, who I think ran in the Grand Annual of 150 later that season. So And that's how unlucky this horse has been. £2 higher. Ben Harvey taking the £3 off. Like, I don't think there's a horse in training that deserves a win more than Archie's Charm. Like, the amount of crossbars the poor lad has hit. Yeah, and then Solomon Lane, you know what, Deck, I'll probably back them both. I think they're both on winning marks. Although I just want to see Archie's Charm win a bloody race. As I said, he's been very unlucky where he's been placed, and he keeps tending to bump into very progressive horses. I'll back them both, Archie's Charm, Solomon Lane. They'll both be nice prices, probably in and around 8-9 to 1 shot, both of them. So I'll have a look at that. And then Deck, you're on the bottom weight there. The mare, Ready Silent.
Look, I like the three, Cave Court, Harvey's Key, but I'm going to side with the mare, Ready Silent. She's gonna have her day.
Okay, awesome. Right, final race then, Deck, is the 410, the Ladbrokes Pro-Am flat race. So it's a bumper again. That's, nice horses have been targeted this race in the past, unsurprising. And look, we've kind of getting a different breed of horse starting to pop out now. Cletus Pula for Gordon Elliott, Harry Swan taking the ride, point winner. Probably one of the more interesting entries. Dermot McLaughlin has 2 in here as well. Ivy Brook, an authorised gelding, and Joya Demar, who's, oh my God, by Old Man River. I didn't know he was at stud in Ireland. So that's an interesting one. Although he was, or she was well beaten at Tipperary, probably won't be good enough to win this. I don't really have too much of an opinion as usual on the bumpers. Have you had a look, Deck, or are you?
We normally talk about this man in the lower grade handicap sport.
I thought you were going to go here, yeah.
Owen McCarthy, Big D.
Right now.
He was second on debut at Listowel to one of Willie's, Look in the City, I think the horse was called. The horse in fourth was second to Arctic Gale then next time out. And that's form. We've discussed Arctic Gale's form quite a lot. I think he was second at Galway before going on to win this race at Fairyhouse. I just thought it was interesting. Normally we are it's one of the horse coming in here with form you can actually work with. So
it's about time.
When I did see he was second to Arctic Gale, I said, I'll have a go there. So I think Big D for me.
Big D for Deck, right? Fair enough. I've no opinion on this. I'll just sit and watch and form my opinions as the bumper season kind of progresses. But no, going with the one with decent experience with a 2 to his name. It's a nice formula, and you might, because of the trainer, get a bigger price, and you probably should. About Big D. So that brings us to an end of Down Royal, Deck. I'm not going to put up the best bets caption yet because you keep getting annoyed at me for that one, and I keep putting you on the spot.
I actually found one.
All right, you found one, but before, I suppose we go best bets. What I will put you on the spot, Deck. I know Gowan have a card. I know it hasn't been the primary focus to look at, but was there anything at Gowan, and just say no if there wasn't, was there anything that you kind of saw that caught your eye at Gowan that you might be looking to back on Saturday?
Yeah, well, when you asked me, you mentioned best bets just before we came on. I had a really, really quick look through the Gowan card, and there was there was a 0 to 95 right down the bottom, 2.5 miles. The races we're always looking for. 337, the Big Cloud. He's had his 3 runs over 2 miles in maidens, and then into a handicap over 2 miles, never better than midfield, the usual, the stuff we like to see. So up to 2.5 miles here, and hopefully he opens up at a nice price and gets the job done.
Lovely, awesome. I haven't got too much now myself, Deck, but it is interesting to see a few nice horses make their hurdling debut at Gowan, like Il Atlantique, who was a nice bumper horse for Willie Mullins last year. He's down to run in the 2:32 and maiden hurdle. He'd probably be long odds on, but I wouldn't be surprised if he turned into a nice hurdler. He was a little bit weak, especially in the finish of his races last season, kind of notably when Firefox got the better of him at Fairyhouse. But he did look like quite an imposing horse who's just going to improve with time, which is unsurprising. All bumper horses really should be improving like that if they're handled correctly. And he is one that I'm very excited to see his hurdling debut. He probably won't be a backable price though. Outside of that deck, I don't think of anything that I'm too crazy on for Gowan. I might throw something up on the Twitter page if I do see it. That 1253 is appealing. The handicap chase, decent field of 6 there for that 2 mile handicap chase. But I will leave it at that. And the mares beginners, obviously, with Brandy Love, Harmonia Maker, Ava Grace, few nice horses. Lady in Red, bits of in and out form there, and even Henning, who was third in a decent race on her chasing debut behind Law Ella. That'd be well worth noting for the future. My best bet of the weekend, probably by the way I was talking about it, most people will already know. It's going to come in the Haslam Hotel handicap hurdle. It's Foxy Girl with her first time hold off 123. I think she's very well handicapped, and I'm going to get stuck into her on the weekend. Have a nice bet on her. And that brings us to an end of Tap 8 deck, our first grade 1 in the bag. Hopefully many more to come, but really, really exciting. I think this weekend is it's the start of the Irish National Hunt season for a lot of people, not for us, but it is for a lot of people, and the action really comes in thick and fast now. So Deck will be back from his trip to Europe, and he'll be back for Tap 9 next week. We might even spend 5-10 minutes looking back on what we saw at Down Royal, and of course Naas as well, and Gowan. Very, very good racing. But until then, guys, that was Tap 8, and all the best till the next time.
Cheers. Look.
Yes, bye-bye.